Okay guys, I wanted to give everybody a free tip today on doing some Euros for the guys that like to do them themselves. I don't like to give out too many tips because then you're just educating your competition, but I'm always a nice guy and like to help anybody out. And I know there's guys that like to do the skulls themselves, that don't want to bring them to me or bring them to somebody else. But for the guys that do it yourself, I wanted to give y'all free tips. But real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Ashcraft Apparel on our shirts we had made. They turned out really good. I like them. Real stretchy, comfortable, and they're going to be some pretty awesome shirts during the summer because they're a Gildan performance, so it's like a sweat wicking t-shirt. And also a shout out to Better Outdoors for all my archery hookups that I harvest all my archery animals and stuff with. If you haven't been to their shop, you definitely need to go in there and see Dalton get set up properly, and he will get you shooting 10 times better than what you ever thought you would. So just wanted to give them a shout out real quick. But we'll get into this. Okay, I got a skull over here a guy brought me that he tried to do himself, then didn't have the time, so he brought it to me for me to finish. And I'm gonna have to bull it because it's not bulled and clean as what my skulls are and for my process. So what I'm going to teach y'all today is wrapping your antlers. I know people don't believe in wrapping the antlers so that the soap, whether it's Dawn or OxyClean or baking soda or whatever you put in your water to help degrease, break down, whatever it is, if it's some kind of chemical, it will at some point wash off color from your antler. And if you see this one right here, I can tell that this guy didn't wrap his antler because I can see a water line right there. There's a water line on both sides, and so you can see that dark part and then this light part, and that's where all this has been in there. And you can see he bulled it. You can see the color of that skull, how yellow it is. Of course, it's got a little bit of meat on it. That's what I'm having to take care of because he didn't have time to finish it. But here's one that I haven't whitened yet, and it's just been bulled and then put in my degreasing tank for about a week. It's set in it. That pulls out all that oil, and then I'll turn around and I'll whiten it. And when I do that, it'll make this skull even whiter than what it looks right now. So I just wanted to kind of show y'all that the difference in when you properly degrease your skulls of what it will look like. But anyways, when we get into this, I'll set that one down. Since I'm going to be wrapping these antlers, I usually set them just like this, and we'll be using just stretch plastic, electrical tape. Vinyl electrical tape works best. It tends to stretch easier, tighter, and it doesn't rip. And then of course zip ties and cutters, and I'll show you what all those are for. But anyways, first off, what I'm going to do, let me move my chair here. I usually start up about the G2 because I don't want anything touching this antler. I want all the color to stay, and I know this one's done been bulled and you got the water line, but if this was a new head, I'm skinning it out, and when I skin it out, I'm taking the eyeballs out, I'm taking this chunk of meat, everything out. I usually cut this little end off the nose, and I'll scramble the brain, and I'll get that brain out. Whether you stick air in there and you blow it out, whether you put your power washer or whatever in there and get that brain out so that degreasing agent, whatever you use, can get inside this brain cavity from this side and this side and degrease this skull. So I take everything I can off of it, and so when I get it, of course it's going to have the membrane stuff on it. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this plastic wrap, and it's kind of one directional to keep it tight. If you go this way, it's going to be loose, but if you go this way, the way it comes off, it'll be tight. So I'm going to pull that really tight, a couple rounds right there. I'll go down around here just like this. Go around that brow tine a couple times. Then I'm going to get down here to the pedicle, and I see a lot of guys that don't do this. I don't want any color coming off of this at all. Some guys just wrap down here to the bottom. I go below the pedicle. I would rather have to clean a little bit of meat off and stuff than to have to mess with this antler. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, because accidents do happen. You're dealing with a liquid water and some degreasing agent that eventually it's going to get up in there somehow. But anyways, I'm pulling it really tight under them bases. I usually just go a couple rounds, and then I go above the base. Do it a couple rounds, working my way back up. Okay, once I get back up here, I'll go another round. Alright, next step, take your electrical tape. And let's see, there's my edge. I'll take my electrical tape, and I go with the way of the plastic. I go one round this way, and then I just kind of spiral down, kind of pulling it tight. And once I get down here to the pedicle, I'm going to do one right on the pedicle, all the way around, really tight. And then I'm going to go below the pedicle, pull that tight on there, and then go just up it, above it a little bit, spiral my way back up. Pull that off. Take 2 zip ties. First one goes up here, and you want to pull it in the way the tape is going. This holds this tape on, which holds plastic on it. You don't want it to unravel on you while it's in the bowl. Pull that tight. Take your cutters. Snip it off. Take your second zip tie. Put it under your base. I usually bring it around here to the front like that, kind of hold it, and I pull that sucker as tight as I can get it. I want a watertight seal under that antler. I don't want anything getting up there. And this ain't just for color. If there's bark in there, somebody brings a deer in, they say, man, he's been rubbing really good, and I want to keep that bark in there because I think it looks good. That right there will, 99 out of 100 times, keep that bark in there. So I'm going to do this other side real quick. I'm going to show y'all something. Y'all hang with me for a second. Wrap below that pedicle. Above it. Now work my way back up. Okay, same thing. We're going to wrap it in this direction. Same way we was wrapping the plastic. Get down to that pedicle. We're going to pull it tight. I'll go up above this one a little bit because it's got a little void in the back of that one. Okay, I'll go below there, around, back up. I'm going to work my way back up. like that. Take the zip tie, same direction as my tape. Cut it off. Same thing underneath the pedicle here, just like we did the other side. Pull it tight. Now, that's going to be a watertight seal. I can probably put that buck all the way up to there in the water and not wash away any color, because if you get it up too high, yeah, it can get there. But this is mainly, because it's sitting in the pot, this is mainly to keep anything on the back of the antler from washing off or heat rising up. Just kind of protects it when you're boiling it. But accidents do happen. So I wanted to kind of show y'all something. Every now and then it will wash off color. That's a simple fix. So what we're going to do, and Josh Slatton, that's your buck. I'm real good friends with Josh, so he won't mind at all. I am going to find, let's see here, get my pen if I can find it. There it is. Okay. Provincial. Men Wax Provincial. You can take that thing right there. And you can just color that up. And of course, this is just a real quick job. And what I'll do, that'll make it even better, is once it dries, I will take, I've got a quart of it over here in a cabinet. I'll take that quart and I'll take a Q-tip, open the lid, and I'll take a little bit off, and I'll just dab it on there. And it looks kind of light right now, and it's got just a little bit of a shine to it. But what you do is once it dries, you take 4/0 steel wool. You take that steel wool and you just run it on there. That'll take that shine off. Now, right now you see it's a little bit lighter. We can put multiple coats on there that will match this up here. So we've already kind of matched this on the side, but your bases are usually darker. So we'll put a little bit on there and we'll let this sit and dry. And then once it dries, we'll do that. But I gotta still turn around and whiten this. That's just from the initial boil. But anyways, I just wanted to give that tip to y'all guys, because I know there's a lot of them, a lot of y'all that like to do your own skulls. You take pride in it, and some of it's easy for you. This ramp right here, I get it from work. It's probably, which it's a big roll, it's probably less than $10. I really don't know, because I just charge it to my account and I just pay my account little by little. Electrical tape, zip ties. I just use yellow because I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they love zip ties. So every time I'm looking for zip ties, I can't find them. So if they're yellow, they're bright, I can see them when they hide them from me. So that's why I use yellow. There's no particular reason, but just wrap them up, everything. That'll keep your color on and keep it from washing that anything that's in there. And then once you get done boiling it and everything, you just cut them zip ties off with a razor blade, knife, whatever. Just run it right up the back of that. Cut that zip tie, cut that one, run that blade across there and just peel that right off there. and then you'll have just a little bit of skin that's underneath here that didn't get sprayed off, boiled off, whatever. It's heated and it's got moisture around it, so you can just take the pressure washer, hose, knife, whatever, it's just going to come right off easy. So don't fret over that. But that's just a little tip for y'all guys. Appreciate y'all watching this video, and y'all get out in the woods, kill some more deer, prepare for next season, because we're gonna hit it hard next season. We're up about double of our numbers from last year on skulls, and it's grown big enough in the last 3 years since we started that we are in the process of getting a building set up to work out of, because it's getting a little bit crowded in the workroom. And y'all check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Crossnose Skullworks. And y'all have a good night.